It's a morning time gentle yoga class, and as with anything in the mornings, I recommend grabbing a warm cup of lemon water. So I'll wait while you go do that. We're going to get started in either a lying down position or, if you prefer, seated. I'm going to be seated because that's how much room I have for this video, but I recommend lying down more if you can. Wherever you are, just be in a comfortable space. Take a few nice deep breaths. Allowing yourself to arrive here. Feeling yourself completely relax, sinking into the floor just a little bit deeper. Maybe you can actually feel your nervous system start to make the switch. Big full inhales and deep exhales, letting go of anything that is not serving you right now. And with each inhale, allowing yourself to expand more into this person that you want to be. Expand more to take up the space that you are meant to. Relax the face. Check in with the jaw. Make sure the tongue is away from the top of the mouth. And if you are lying down, go ahead and start wiggling the toes or the fingers just a little bit. Drawing awareness to what it feels like to bring in that movement from the breath to the physical. And gently make your way up to a seated position. And from this seated position, just noticing, closing the eyes for a moment, taking another couple of deep breaths, just noticing how it feels to be here now. We're gently going to push out the right rib to the right side. Maybe the left ear comes to left shoulder just a little bit. Pausing here for a moment. Inhaling gently back to center, sitting up nice and tall. Exhaling, pushing out the left rib, right ear to right shoulder. Drawing out the breath, inhaling through center again, moving with your own breath, and moving to the opposite side, right rib, left ear. The longer you push out the breath, the slower and more controlled the movement is. Inhaling through center each time. One or two more rounds here. The next time you come through center, again, pausing. We'll take a nice deep inhale up with the arms. Feel those shoulders sink into their sockets. Lift the gaze, lift the heart. And with the exhale, we're turning left hand to right knee, right hand behind us. This shoulder rolls back, chest is open. We're breathing here for 3 breaths. And at the bottom of your next exhale, inhale back to center. Exhaling to the other side. Sitting up nice and tall with the inhale, and with the exhale, allowing yourself to just relax a little bit more into this stretch. We'll inhale back up to center. Exhale, hands come to the shoulders. Elbows stay up, and we'll just gently turn to that right and turn to the left. So you'll exhale as you turn to the right, inhale as you turn to the left. And we're just very gently waking up the spine here. Moving through the torso. Feeling the shoulders relax, pressing up through the crown of the head, belly buttons hugging the low spine to protect the back. Very subtle, gentle movements here because you don't want to tweak the back at all. Breathing. One more. And then inhaling up. Exhaling, bringing those hands down to the ground, rounding the spine, tucking that chin in. Gently walking the hands back, bringing them behind you, opening up the chest, inhaling. And exhaling, coming back to center. Let's bring that right hand to the left knee, left arm on top, exhaling as we round back. Maybe rocking side to side just a little bit. And then inhaling, heart comes up, arms come up to eagle arms. So basically the left arm's on top. We're just bending the knees or arms at a 90-degree angle. Maybe the back of the hands touch, or you can wrap it around so the palms touch. Lift the arms so that the eyes of the elbows are in front of your face. Let the shoulders relax. Just feel this stretch for a moment. Nice deep inhale. Full exhale. And gently start to draw tiny little circles with the elbows. Opposite direction. All right, we'll release that, taking a nice big inhale, wide like a hug. Exhale, hands come behind us, palms facing inward. We'll bring the legs out. We're going to press ourselves up into a reverse tabletop. Lifting the hips, lifting the heart. Imagine holding an apple between your chin and chest so you're not releasing the neck fully. One big inhale here. Exhale, sitting it back down, coming back into that cross-legged position, switching which leg was in front. And you'll notice that it just might feel a little awkward, but don't get caught up on it if you don't remember which was which. So now we're taking the left hand to the right knee, right arm comes on top of the left, exhaling, rounding that spine, sitting back maybe ever so slightly. Start to inhale, bringing that heart forward, bending the arms up, back of the hands meet. If you can, bring the palms around, that's great. Lifting the eye of the elbow in front of the face, relax the shoulders, sitting up nice and tall. A couple breaths here. Allowing yourself to just be with your breath, to be with your body. Relaxing that jaw. Let's start to gently draw little circles with the elbows. Reverse those little circles. Finding stillness. One more nice deep inhale, raising those arms up. Exhale, release. Gently inhaling to that big hug pose again. And then bringing the hands behind you. Getting ready to press up Fingers are facing in, pressing up to that reverse tabletop. Heart lifts, hips lift, maybe coming back into the heels a little so you can wiggle the toes. One more deep, big inhale. Exhale, sitting back down. We'll leave those hands or the legs, feet on the floor. You can turn the hands now so that the wrists are facing inwards, fingers out, and we're just gently going to start window wipering the legs. Just noticing how that feels. We're still letting that heart lift up. And then let's come forward. We'll make our way into a tabletop position. You know, cat and cow is my favorite part. This is where you really get to explore your body and wake yourself up. So go ahead and just rock side to side for a moment. Waking up the joints, elbows are slightly bent. And then we'll transition through a few rounds of cat and cow. So with cow, your heart presses forward, gaze lifts, spine and belly naturally follow. Exhale, press the ground away, round the spine, let the head hang heavy, maybe shake the hips slightly. And feel free to make it your own. Always an option to come up onto the fingertips, to sit back through child's pose, to come forward through cobra, whatever feels good for you. Trying to just stay in the realm of cat and cow exploration. We will be getting into other movements. One or two more rounds of breath here. And the next time you come up to that rounded spine, start leaning towards the right, pressing that right rib out again. And then we'll gently bend the elbows, drop the belly. Coming over to the left rib as we lift again. So we're jump roping the spine. Inhaling as you drop the belly, kind of dropping but lifting the heart at the same time. And exhaling, rounding up. One more of those. Pausing at the top of this exhale, and we'll reverse the movement, pressing into the left side. Maybe the hips get into it as well. Really just allowing yourself to get lost in the movement. Pausing at the top with that exhale. We'll sit back in a child's pose for just a moment. Arms reach forward. You can always have a block under the forehead if you like. Just surrendering here for a moment. Let's flip those palms up. Just focusing on the breath, noticing how you feel. Taking a moment here to rock that forehead side to side, just massaging the face. Saying good morning to that pituitary gland, our third eye center, that wisdom house. Waking up our trust response for ourselves. This is a good time to set an intention for yourself if you would like. Maybe one phrase, one movement. I didn't mean to say one movement. One phrase or one word that resonates with you that you would like to hold on to at this time. Finding stillness for a couple breaths. Really feeling that expansion into the back. Letting the belly hang loose, maybe an audible sigh. That ah sound is such a release. Try it again. Nice big inhale. Let's gently walk those hands forward, coming into that tabletop position again. We'll step the feet back, sitting back into a downward dog. First down dog of the day. Go ahead and pedal out the feet. Finding as much motion that feels good for you. Maybe wiggle the hips, wiggle the head. Make sure your shoulders are nice and stable in their sockets. Your fingers are wide. We'll gently transition forward to plank. Exhaling back to down dog. Inhaling forward to plank. Dropping to the knees, sitting back to child's pose. Nice deep inhale. From child's pose, we're gently going to slither ourselves forward, coming onto those forearms into Sphinx pose. So elbows are below the shoulders. Heart lifts. Gently pressing into the tops of the feet and the hips. One nice big inhale, lifting the heart. Exhaling down, bringing the hands under the shoulders. Inhaling, lift to baby cobra. Exhale, lower. Pressing back through child's pose, hooking the toes and sitting back up into your down dog. Couple of breaths here. Take a nice deep inhale. With that exhale, we'll slowly walk the hands back to the feet. First forward fold of the day. Make sure you have at least 2 fists between your hands or between your feet, allowing the feet to be hip width apart. If it feels better, you can go a little wider. Really bending the knees first. Maybe wiggling side to side. You can ragdoll it with the elbow, hands in the eyes of the elbow. Maybe rocking side to side. Go ahead and come to a halfway lift, maybe grabbing a block, straightening that spine, lengthening the spine, and exhale back into that forward fold. 2 more of these, inhaling half lift, exhale forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Let's bring that block underneath the bum as we bend the legs, bringing the feet to turn out to about a 45-degree angle, a supported squat here. Elbows can come to the insides of the knees. Of course, if it's in your practice and it feels better to just let that booty hang down and feel that nice low back release and big hip stretch, all the more power to you. But if that is just too much for your little bod right now, please support yourself. You should not be in pain or strain. Or if you're just feeling like you want to relax more, that is what the bricks are for. I'm all about the rhymes this morning, apparently. And if you don't have a yoga block, you can use books or anything that just would stack and sit under your sit bones. So we're breathing here. Roll those shoulders back. Let the heart come forward. Maybe a couple of audible sighs again. From here, we're going to bring that left hand down to the ground. Maybe letting the shoulder lean into the left leg. And we're just going to, you can either place one hand on the right knee and just start to roll this right shoulder back, opening the heart. You can lift the arm up to the ceiling. If that's too much of a lever for your body, you can always have the hand on the shoulder. Last option is to bring that hand all the way back and have a tiny little bind grabbing into the inside of the left thigh. Relaxing the jaw, relaxing the face. Surrendering into this posture. Remembering that intention you set for yourself. Asking yourself, what can soften? How can I make room for this intention today, right now, during this practice? Take another nice big inhale, coming back around, exhaling through the squat position again. Start to inhale as you bring that right hand down, finding whichever variation works for you, starting to exhale as you open up. Very nice chest opener here. Breathing into it. Letting the jaw relax. Maybe a tiny little smile can find your face so you know you're not too serious about this intention you've set for yourself. You gotta have that trust. You can't have that clinginess. One more inhale. Exhaling gently, coming around. Let's bring the arms in front of us. Exhaling, rounding that spine. Inhaling, gently walking it back. We're going to gently transition forward through our squat into a child's pose again. Nice deep inhale here, letting that belly release, relax. To stay in that rest and digest state with our parasympathetic nervous system, we must have long, gentle breaths and flowy movements. Taking a nice deep inhale, gently exhaling, sliding forward to that Sphinx pose again. Inhaling, rolling the shoulders back, lifting the heart, gently pressing into the hips and tops of the feet. Exhaling to lower, hands slide under the shoulders. Inhaling to rise, baby cobra. Exhaling, lower. Pressing back through child's pose for just a moment and coming back to that tabletop position. We're going to extend that right arm out in front of us. Really feel it locking into the socket. Can you reach forward, really reaching, and then pull it back in? Let's do a couple more of those. Straight forward, we're reaching, the hand faces to the outside of the body. And then when you pull it back in, the thumb is up. Reaching out, pinkies up. Reaching in, thumb is up. One more, reach out and reach in. Let's bring that hand down. Maybe just gently sway side to side here. Other side, we're reaching that left arm up. First, just feeling the shoulder in the socket, and then we're reaching out, pinkies up, reaching back in, thumb up. Just a couple of these, just feeling it. Bringing bringing that hand back down. Wiggling the hips a little bit. We're going to do the same with the legs. So let's extend that right foot back, pressing through the heel first, just feeling through that leg. We'll lift it up. And then it's a turning, opening up that hip. And then closing it again. Maybe you point the toes and flex it as you come back to that closed hip because you're pressing through the heel. Or if it feels good to just keep it a flexed foot, that's okay too. Go ahead and bring that leg back underneath you, just rocking side to side. We'll extend that right leg back. Maybe pressing through the heel first, just sitting back ever so softly. Coming back over the hands, lifting that leg, flexing the foot, just feeling your posture here, trying to really hug that belly button into the low back so you're not creating this dip in the spine. Strong between the shoulders. And then point and spiral open, flex, and come back to closed hip. This next one, we're going to bring the leg back down underneath us. Let's sit back, coming down onto our forearms, bring the hands in front of us, and we'll roll out our wrists. Maybe coming down into the forearms. If it feels good, you can always massage out the hands. It can turn into a face massage, whatever you're feeling this morning. Just make sure that you're strong between the shoulder blades so you're not creating valleys. The heart isn't sinking down. You're nice and intentional here. And if it feels better, if you need to have a block underneath the hips, it can just feel better to lift those hips up sometimes. So just one or two more breaths here. Just calling in that gratitude for our bodies, for these little systems, always constantly at work, constantly maintaining and restoring balance within ourselves. That is what we are designed for. Stretching out to that child's pose again. Removing the block if you had it. Exhaling, coming forward into that Sphinx pose. Inhaling the heart up. Exhaling down, hands come under the shoulders. Rolling the shoulders back, lifting the heart, baby cobra. Exhaling, release. Pressing through the knees, we're going to come back up to a down dog. Just finding a little bit of wiggle space here, maybe coming up onto the toes, maybe wiggling those hips again. Then we'll really sit back in the hips, lift the gaze towards the hands, gently bringing those knees all the way down to the ground, coming into that tabletop again. I want you to just for a moment grab some blocks or books or pillows, something. I want you to have some support for what we're moving into next. So go ahead and just make sure your blocks are with us. Come back up through a plank position into your down dog. We do that for the connection points between plank and down dog, where the hands and feet hopefully don't move too much. But if they do, if that's just how your anatomy works right now or feels better, that's okay. Breathe in here. We'll gently transition forward again. We're going to bring that right foot with us, stepping it up next to the right hand. Left knee comes down. please, holding on to those blocks, rolling the shoulders back, lifting the heart. Just allow yourself to feel the openness of this pose. So you're not just dumping all your weight into your hips, you're pressing into this front foot a little bit to feel nice and stable. Maybe you could hover the hands, but you're also using support right now, making sure that the wrist is under the shoulders. And go ahead and play with that strength. Notice what it feels like to press into the foot just a little bit more and hover the hands, maybe lift the belly off the leg and then coming back down. Doing that just a couple times. And then finally bringing the hands back down to the blocks. Breathing here. Just allowing yourself to be in it for a moment. Nice deep inhale forward with that heart. Exhale, let's sit the hip back. We're flexing the front foot. And we just want to keep the hips over the knee. So we're not sitting all the way back. We're just keeping the hips over the knee. Foot's flexed. Let's bow that head down. You can wiggle the foot a little bit, shake it out as long as the foot is flexed. Take another nice deep inhale, maybe lifting halfway. And let yourself surrender again. Always takes the head a second to realize it can truly surrender. And then we'll come to another half lift. Start to bend into that front leg. Bring the hands down to frame the foot. We'll tuck the toes in the back. Maybe lift that leg up, coming back through plank. And exhaling into your down dog. Rolling forward to plank. Exhaling down to the knees, sitting back into child's pose. Inhaling, rolling forward to that Sphinx pose. Exhaling here for a moment. Let's take another breath. Inhaling. Exhale to lower, hands come underneath the shoulders. Inhale, rolling the shoulders back, lift the heart. Exhale, release down. Pressing back through the knees, or however you want to get there. We're coming up into down dog again. Gently transition forward to plank. Bring that left foot with you, setting it next to the left hand, coming down onto the right knee. Blocks are beside you. Rolling the shoulders back. Even if you're advanced, I'd like to challenge you to use blocks today, because so often we don't want to use props. We feel like we don't need it. We've worked through that. But what if you could just offer yourself a little bit of extra support? So let's just play with this. Again, you're not dumping into the hips. You're pressing into that foot lightly, maybe playing with being able to lift up off just a little bit and coming back down, making sure, again, that those wrists are under the shoulders. So you don't have any like weird angles here. It's a nice straight line. And after you've played with that strength for just a couple rounds, coming into the hands, lifting the heart, finding that stillness here, relaxing the jaw, relaxing the tongue, maybe a little smile. Exhale, sit those hips back, foot is flexed. Remember that the hips are trying to stay up above the knee. So not sitting back too far. Again, foot is flexed. You can wiggle this foot a little bit in the front if that feels good. We're going to take a nice deep inhale, fully surrender that head down. And because the head has such a hard time to surrender, let's inhale again. Full release, bowing that head to the heart. A nice subtle reminder to our minds, you can relax, you can release, it's okay. And then we'll gently come forward through that inhale, bringing the hands to frame the foot, stepping back into down dog. Slowly rolling forward through plank, exhaling to the knees, coming back into child's pose. Gently inhaling as we come forward through our Sphinx pose, shining that heart forward. Exhaling, hands under the shoulders, lifting for baby cobra. Exhaling to lower, we'll bend the knees, bring the big toes stay together, knees come wide, and sitting back into a child's pose. Take a moment here again to pause. Let's flip those hands up. Notice any sensations that might be going on in the hands, the arms, anywhere else in the body. Taking those nice, full, deep belly breaths. I'm only up slightly so that you can hear my breath and I'm not muffling it in my child's pose, but please fully surrender into your child's pose. Those deep belly breaths, really surrendering the belly, especially in a society that puts so much focus on a body image. Just let that belly relax. Who cares if it's flabby, if it's rolly? We are humans. We are made of flesh and bone. We're meant to be a little roly-poly, you guys, and it's okay. So nice deep breaths into the back, full release through the belly. Let the heart sink a little deeper to the ground. 1 or 2 more breaths here. If you have any sort of hypermobile joints or shoulder injuries, please make sure that your shoulders are rolled back into their sockets and that you're not hyperextending your shoulder by letting that heart sink a little deeper. If you need to support your shoulders with blocks, you can always do that as well. One more nice deep inhale. And with the exhale, we're going to come up through our cat, rounding that spine. Let's turn it into a cow, inhaling forward. And then exhaling, we'll just sit back, coming into a nice seated position once again. So we're going to have the right leg on top first. It's sorry, I had to think for a moment. It's a fire log pose or double pigeon. Both of the feet are going to be flexed. There's a few options here. So you can bring your left foot on top of your left knee. They're both feet are flexed. Sometimes, your leg's really up here and you're a little cramped, so you can lean back into that and just try to gently drive that knee down. If you're all about it and it feels really good, you can start to move forward very gently. It is a very intense pose. I can't move forward yet. So just breathing into it. If this works for you, stay here. I want to give you 2 options if it doesn't. Another option is that you can lay down on your back and cross this right foot on top of the thigh, just above the knee, and then bend that leg, grabbing through underneath. So it's like the same kind of stretch, but you're on your back. So wherever you're at, just breathing, relaxing the jaw, relaxing the face. Noticing how your body feels. Really trying to breathe through it if there's a lot of intense energy coming up through this hip stretch. There have been plenty of times where I've just noticed this crazy sensation of feeling inside of my body while I'm stretching. But of course, we're learning there's a very fine difference between pain and strain. So if it's just an intense feeling and you're not really in pain, but you can breathe through it and it's okay, it's interesting almost to be in, as unbearable as it feels, but you're not pushing injury. It's really hard to explain, but I hope maybe you get it. If you have any doubts whatsoever, please just back off. Better to be safe than pushing for injury. Just a couple more breaths here. Really relaxing that face. You can bring your hand to your foot if that feels good. The foot is still lightly flexed. That's very important to keep the knee protected on both feet. But just gently bringing even just a little bit of touch to your feet, reminding your feet that you know how important they are to your daily living. One more nice big inhale, sitting up nice and tall. Exhale, hands will come behind us. Fingers point in. We're going to come up to a tabletop position again. I'll get an angled view coming up, inhaling. Pressing those hips up, and with the exhale, sitting back down. We're going to bring the left leg on top this time. So a nice flexed foot. Whoop, got a little bit of wrapping paper on my foot, I guess. And again, don't forget your options. If you're feeling all crunched and your back's rounding and your legs are up, please find what works for you to be able to lean back and let that heart be open. Always that option to go onto your back if that feels better. Just feeling the breath. Feeling that rise and fall. Cultivating that trust again. That trust of how important rest is. Can start to just put your hands on your feet if that feels good. Maybe just bringing that little bit of motion to the foot again. One or two more breaths here. Remember to keep those feet, both feet lightly flexed. Nice deep inhale, and with this exhale, hands come behind us, fingers point in. Last reverse tabletop here, pressing up, inhaling, exhaling, pressing the hips, pressing into the hands, trying to raise that heart up, and then gently coming back down. Let's straighten those legs, pull the hips into their sockets. Nice big inhale. And with that exhale, folding forward, hands come to the outside of the feet. Maybe gently rocking side to side. You can always bend the knees a little bit if that feels better. Option to have a block underneath you, but please do not put your block right on top of your knees. They need to be on your thighs or on your shins. And again, this is just a self-love, loving kindness type of pose. Just remembering that you're here for you. I invite you to give yourself a little compliment here. Tell yourself something that you really need to hear right now. And notice if it's difficult. Notice if it comes out backhanded at first, as I personally notice a lot of my own compliments are. And really see if you can rework it, if you can be with yourself. To make yourself feel better, to let yourself feel better. Spend a couple more breaths here. One more nice deep inhale. And as the exhale comes, we're gently going to roll all the way back onto our backs. We'll bring the knees with us. Just gently rocking the knees side to side. Move them into little circles. Reverse that circle. Let's just try a nice wide open knees. And then bringing them together through center. Come wide again. And then reversing that. And just staying right there. I have to get my kitten off the fishbowl. And when you feel like you've had enough here, let's go ahead and bring those arms out to a T. Palms facing up and just rocking side to side with the hips for a moment. We'll press those feet up towards the ceiling, just pointing and flexing the feet a little bit. Exhaling them down to tabletop legs and then letting them exhale all the way to the right as the gaze falls down the left side. Always an option to bring this left knee up on top more if that feels better. You can straighten these legs out. Whatever feels good for you. Breathing into this space. Taking one more nice deep inhale here. Exhaling, coming back to center. Just wiggling the hips side to side again. Inhaling the feet up towards the ceiling for just a moment. That point and flex again. Coming back down to that tabletop. And then exhaling, legs down to the left, gaze falls to the right. Letting the jaw separate. Allowing yourself to just feel good. Another nice deep inhale. With the exhale, just gently bringing yourself back to center. Rocking those hips side to side for just a moment. You can bring the arms in around the legs. Maybe give yourself a nice big little squeeze. A big little squeeze. And then gently just let everything relax, finding a comfortable Savasana pose for just a moment. Feet are about hip width apart, if not a little wider. Arms fall down at the side. You can wiggle the hips slightly and feel this ricochet throughout the rest of your body, knowing you're completely relaxed. Starting to let the breath fade away back to normal. Starting to sit in the mind of just noticing what's going on. Watching your body rise and fall with the breath. Simply observing yourself here at rest. From here, we'll take a nice, big, deep inhale. Again, just bringing that awareness back to the body, noticing how you feel before you move anything. Oh, excuse me. Notice how you feel before you move anything. And then slowly start to wiggle the fingers, wiggle the toes. Maybe you roll the wrists or bring each finger to tap the pad of the thumb. You can stretch those arms up overhead. Then just rolling onto that right side for a moment, pausing here. Calling on gratitude. We so easily get caught up in what we lack, what we want, what we don't have. Take a moment to feel really good about all of the abundance you already have in your life. Surely life would be extremely different without these privileges, these little joys. So let it feel good, right in your heart. Let it fill you up. Maybe it makes you smile. And as you're ready, gently pressing into the hand, making your way up to a full seated position. Keeping the eyes soft or down. Hands can be on the knees or a little bowl in your lap, just noticing how you feel. And then with the palms pressing up, raising ourselves up, our energy just pressing up, lifting the heart. Nice big inhale. With that exhale, hands come together, palms gently come down to heart center. I want you to take a moment to remember that you know how to do hard things. You've made it this far in life. Life surely is not easy. It may be simple, but it is not easy. And you are here. You know how to do hard things. Breathe into it. Nice deep inhale. Full exhale. Let's bloom this palm open like a little flower. Pinkies and thumbs stay together. Symbol for love and light. From my heart to yours, giving thanks to the atmosphere, to each other, to everyone else practicing, for everyone else committing to showing up for themselves. Just this thanks and sharing. You are not alone. Nice deep inhale. Full exhale with the fingers, bringing the hands over your own heart, maybe even bowing your left temple to the heart. Feeling your heartbeat, taking another breath. Taking a moment to really sincerely thank yourself for showing up for you today. The light in me sees that light in you. Go ahead and let the hands fall back down to the lap. When you are in this calm, centered space within yourself, and I am in this calm, centered space within myself, we share this oneness, this unity. We can see each other, and from here, we can experience the joys of real life. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me today. It means so much to me wherever you are in this world that you have taken time out of your day to be with me for your practice. I wish you well.